I'm Andrew, and I'm setting out to make better videos for diesel enthusiasts. Follow along as I review products, do how-tos, and share my personal trucks here on Just Diesels. This is a video I'm very excited to bring you guys. I've done a lot of reviews on this channel, but in this video, we are going to be reviewing the AlphaRex 2nd Gen taillights. This is a brand new option to the 2nd Gen market, and I'm very excited to finally have something more high-end for these trucks. So in this video, I'm going to be running through a detailed review of these lights, running through the different options, colors, all that stuff, how they work, and then actually telling you guys whether or not they are worth the price for your truck. I've had these on my truck for multiple months now. I actually got one of the initial test sets. I wanted to give them some shakedown time, make sure there wasn't any water leakage, everything else. But in this video, I'm going to run you through all the details on these taillights. Let's take a look. All right, so let's dive into these taillights. And really quickly, I want to say that these taillights are just the beginning of lighting options for these trucks. AlphaRex just dropped brand new headlights, which I will be reviewing as soon as I can get my hands on them. But for now, we're gonna be focusing on the taillights. So to get into the nitty-gritty details of these taillights, there are 3 different color options available. There is red, alpha black, and black. I'm going to show you guys video of all these so you can kind of actually look and compare, but essentially what this is going to be is the color of the light tubes is changing, and also the tint on the outer lens is changing. So in the red, you're going to get red light tubes even when the lights are not illuminated, and you're going to get a slightly smoked lens. With the black, you're going to get kind of a grayish light tube, so there's no actual color to it unless the light is turned on, and then a smoked lens. In the alpha black, you're going to get the same kind of grayish light tubes, but you're gonna have a totally clear lens. This is gonna be good for people that are trying to color match or paint the inside of their taillights, but there's a lot of options depending on kind of what styling you're going for with your truck. I've played around with a few different ones. I personally really like the alpha black, but the red is kind of a cool for a little bit more classic look on the truck. Again, totally up to you and what you feel looks best on your truck. The outers of these lights can also be paint matched if you want to. So sport package trucks, for example, here's a great example of what this looks like color matched to the truck, but it is a possibility. Just like the factory sport taillights though, they don't come apart, so you have to carefully mask and sand the texture out of the light. So basically treat these just like a factory 2nd Gen taillight. Now in terms of features on these lights, they're going to have a startup sequence. So when you actually activate the running lights or headlights on the truck, you're gonna see these lights sequence across amber, and then they are going to go to red as the running light. When you hit the brake lights on the truck, there are going to be 3 main panels of LEDs that light up on top of the DRL tubes that are going to be illuminated anytime the headlights or taillights are turned on. When you put the turn signal on, the truck is going to have an amber sequential turn signal that is going to activate. So it's actually going to switch from red to amber, and it's going to be a sequential turn that goes across the light. When you put the truck in reverse, you're going to see a reverse light illuminate on the truck. This is actually a separate LED panel at the bottom of the taillight that is going to act as your reverse light. In terms of installation, it is extremely straightforward. It is literally going to install just like your factory taillights. You'll basically pop out the bulb sockets, plug in the bulb sockets to the new taillights, and put them in your truck. So now that we have all that out of the way, let's get into the actual review of these lights. I've had them on my truck for somewhere around 3-ish months, give or take right now. So I've washed the truck multiple times, it's been down dirt roads. They've had as much possibility as I've given them for water intrusion, anything else. So far, I have had 0 issues with these taillights. I've messed with a bunch of other aftermarket options as well, and I would say that these do actually fit better than most of the other aftermarket options. So for what it's worth, I would say that these actually offer a pretty solid fit on the truck. Granted, unfortunately, the bar has been pretty low for aftermarket taillights of these trucks, so it's actually really cool to me to see an actual high quality product for these trucks. Up until this point, kind of like I mentioned at the intro, it's really just been eBay and kind of low quality options. So it's nice to see an actual quality option offered for these trucks that offers some really cool features. Now, speaking of features, the looks on these taillights can be a little bit polarizing. On one hand, I think a lot of people really want these taillights to look classic, look OEM, but at the same time, there's not really too much you can do to make an OEM light that somehow has LEDs and performs better. So initially, I kind of went into this saying like these weren't classic enough, but at the same time, when you really think about it, if you're making a replacement taillight, you're replacing that taillight because you want to kind of modernize the look of the truck. You want to have some more modern features, all of that kind of stuff. And so I think these lights actually check that box very well, because they're basically taking a little bit more modern features, applying them to an old truck, and you have a lot of flexibility in terms of the colors, in terms of the tinted lenses, et cetera, et cetera. You can kind of cater it towards your build, right? If you're going with a little more old school look, go with the red. If you're trying to go with a super modern look, go with the Alpha Black, so you have the clear lens, you can paint match the lights, et cetera, et cetera. But these give a lot of options to people. So I would say, initially I was a little bit skeptical about how modern it looked, but at the same time, now that I've had them on the truck, now that I've had more time to look at them, I think it all makes sense. In terms of actual performance of the lights, the DRL is quite bright on these, so that's a really nice feature. You know, whether you're daytime or you're driving at dusk, these are way, way brighter than the factory lights. When you actually step on the brakes, again, a whole lot brighter than the factory taillights. The amber turn signal is also a nice function. Like, a lot of people talk about this, it's legitimately safer to have an amber turn signal. And so having that feature where you can actually activate the turn signals and have an amber switch is really nice. I think that actually does add some safety, and it's also just a really cool look to have the sequential turn signal going across the taillight. My one area of complaint with these lights is the reverse lights. I would say that they could be brighter. They're definitely brighter than stock, but they could be brighter. So my personal solution, I worked with CJC to actually develop a reverse light bracket. So you can actually mount S2s, whatever other reverse light you want, no drill, underneath the back bumper of the truck. That's what I'm running on mine. That offers way, way more light output than you could ever get out of a built-in reverse light in a taillight. So for what it's worth, that was my solution. But I would say, while they are brighter than stock, it would be cool to have the reverse lights be a little bit brighter. For me though, I just said, forget it. I put my own reverse light kit on this truck, and that way I can activate them to hook up trailers. And these S2 Baja Designs reverse lights are literally bright enough to light up an entire field. So for me, that added a lot more functionality, and it's a very cheap bracket kit, and you can really mount any light you want on there. So I've been super happy with that setup. Finally, I just want to touch a little bit on durability. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I will say I have washed my truck a lot with these taillights. I have purposely shot water directly at the housings from the front and the back. So far, zero issues. So I would say reliability wise, I've had no problems with these taillights. I've been very impressed. I'd say build quality in them is better than most of the eBay, Amazon specials that I have seen and tried. So in terms of actual fitment, quality, everything else, I would say these are leagues above anything else available for the second gens. The bar has been low, but it definitely got way, way higher with these taillights. So those are my 2 cents on these taillights. Obviously, the look's completely up to you, personal preference and all that, but I would say as a whole, in terms of features, in terms of fitment, in terms of quality, these are pretty much untouched on the market for second-gen trucks, and it's really nice to see companies actually putting effort into these older trucks. Lately, I've actually seen kind of a resurgence in really cool products for these, and these are just beginning. There are some cool lighting options coming for these. There are headlights coming for these from AlphaRex. There's a lot of brands that are kind of taking notice of these trucks and really putting some modern products and modern technology into what is an older and kind of somewhat forgotten platform. So very excited to see where that goes, but hopefully this helped you guys if you were shopping for these taillights. If there's anything I didn't answer in this video, comment it down below. I will do my best to answer those questions. And thanks so much for watching.